So Ionic application. How to start an Ionic application? Once your project folder completely created, then let's start with a blank page. The first one will be, you need to check it out, is ng app. It's connected to which application? So in the JS folder, app.js, the module name is starter. So okay, ng app is matching with the starter, so automatically the Angular application is loading. Next, as we are going to have some routing kind of stuff, so I'm just using inf and nav and view, which allows us to have which provides us to have routing between the screens. So when we are using the inf and nav and view, we need to go for the state provider. So I created a roots.js folder here, roots.js file here. In the roots.js, I'm declaring the module name as app.roots followed by dependency. In this module called app.roots, this is a module name app.roots. For naming convention, I just kept it as app.roots. You can just put it as ramesh.root, Ramesh, Sunny, Bunny, something like this. So in order to configure the roots.config, and I'm going to use the state provider and URL provider as a services inside this. So I'm giving state provider and URL root provider in this service as dependency for this function. So state provider dot state is a function here. Inside that, the first parameter will be the URL name, path, and next one will be the object, which contains a URL, template URL. URL is the sense which URL will be locating to. It will be locating to login view, and template URL is the template which will be loading, and the controller which will be using for this view, and the CS for the view. We have a particular CS. And next, so in this way you can just give a number of states and states for the remaining views. So like that, I have given sign up view and student form view, student list view, and student detail view. So for each and everything we have a template URL, controller, and CSS. Now the question is, we are having login view control, so how do we map with our login with our controllers? So the first controller URL root provider that will be loading is a login view. So for that we have given URL root provider dot otherwise as login view. So if nothing is matching, the basic initial one will be the loading as a login view. So the login view is the first view which will be loading. So the first controller will be loading into the application is login view controller. So for that, what we have done is, inside the controllers I have created login view controller. So the controllers are also having for the controllers I have created the name as app.controllers followed by the dependency, and controllers is the first controller is login view controller, as I have named it as login view control. So inside the login view control, I'm having a function again passed by normally we pass scope here, but other than the scope, I'm having a $HTTP, $SQLite, Ionic model, root scope, Ionic loading, and everything. So for that, I'm taking all the dependencies here into this application. Now if you clearly observe, SQLite is not a predefined Angular service. So this is my custom service created. So right now I have created only app.js is a roots.js, wherein the module name of the roots is app.roots, controllers is app.controllers is the root controller, and next one we have one more service added here. So let me go with the service. So for the services, I have created app.services as another module. In that service, I am using a factory method which will be returning the function. Okay. Inside the service, I am having some functions like get tables, get results, get all records, create insert records. 4 functions. When I call the create tables, it will be working with the function create tables function will be working. So what I'm doing is, initially when the login view control is loading, I'm calling the first service SQLite.createTables. So initially when the page is loading itself, I'm trying to create a local database. Anyhow, our application is going to have online and offline features. So first I have to create one offline database. So create tables will be going to the SQLite, in the sense SQLite is a service going to the SQLite. Create tables, it will be matching with this create tables function. So now the create tables function is called, and inside the create table, before when this service is loaded, automatically we have a database created with a demo blank app, HTML5 SQLite, some name, some text, and the size. This one we know how to open a database here. And before loading in the cordova SQLite, here we are doing the operation with using the cordova SQLite. For that we have seen how to load the cordova SQLite. So cordova SQLite plugin we have added initially. So for using cordova SQLite we have to add this plugin. You know how to add it. You go to the command prompt wherever it is running. Let's think that this is a, so from here I think you remember how we added the cordova plugin. So from this folder location, if you just run this command, automatically the command will start working. It will install the cordova plugin, cordova SQLite plugin into the application. Now we have the cordova functionalities. So now we are going to perform the operations using the cordova SQLite. Okay, so right now my target is opening a blank database, demo blank app, open database. It will be storing into this db variable. First I was calling the, in the login view control I was calling the create tables. So it will come to the create tables and it will start creating the tables. Right now I have hard coded the queries, create two tables, user and student. Cordova.SQLite.execute is a function passing the database and the query. So in this database this query will be affecting. So automatically for this database this query, that is username, password, username and the student tables, both the tables will be created, query 1 and as well as query 2. These are the two queries that will be executed. Now we have the tables created. For that, next I'm just checking online or offline status. Initially if nothing is there, I'll just make it as online, something kind of stuff. And next I'm using some params object like username and password, scope.url something, the URL of the server or something. Toggle status, when I'm selecting the toggle, in the sense this will be affecting whether it is true or false. For that I have wrote the function. And login, once if I click the login button, it will be rootscope.online status. Rootscope.online status I was updating here. Rootscope.online status, initially it will be true, or else if it is changing automatically, if it is false means false, true means true. So it means that where it may be online or offline. So if it is online, then it will be calling the login online function. So this is the login online function which will be calling to the server. It is a offline call. In the online call you have HTTP service used. So http.post, you need to pass the URL along with that params. So if the URL is requesting some params, that is username and password is requested here, so automatically I'm passing scope.params, then I'll be getting some response. This response will be checking if the response.data status is equal to success, then I'll be moving it to the student list view. If not, I'll be popping out some alert message saying that Ionic pop-up.alert is which will be showing the status like invalid users or something. So this is with the login functionality. If suppose if I call, if it is not of online, let's think that I have, if the online status is false, then automatically I'll go into the login offline. So scope.login offline, login offline is the function here. So inside the login offline I'll be first getting all the records. So SQLite.get all records, in the sense I'll get the all records, in the sense SQLite is a service, so go to the service. So get all records, in the sense this will be the function called. So inside the get all records I'll be having the username passed. Anyhow I'm sending some get all records of user. So select star from that user passes here, table name will become as users. So select star from user will be the query. Cordova.execute db is user. You will get the response. You will get some response. So that response will not be in a proper order. So make it into a proper array order. What I was doing is I was just making one more function like get result set. So get result set will make some array format, the proper format which will be user understandable and which you can use it for the displaying purpose. So for that I'm returning again result set here into from this. So this value will be stored into this result. As I call get result, from here it will be moving to this 20th line and it will be executing this performance, and this will be returning the result and we'll get back to this result. Now it is stored here. In the final data we'll be sending the object, a JSON object like status, success messages if any, and data, the result, that is right now I'm having an array here, so data will be an array. Now I'll send this value here. So I'm just assigning this value in the root scope dot result. Now get all records is called from where, in the login view control. So get all records of user is called, and we'll get some response from there. So for the understanding sake, we are using some loading kind of spinner. So obviously for 2 seconds it will be waiting, and then automatically it will be disappear. I'm using a timeout called check scope validation. So once we get the data, it's fine, but the data should be, if it is proper, if it is a proper user and that is a right user and a password, then it should be redirecting to the next screen. So for that, what we need to do is, now we have got only the response, but we need to check for the validation. For the validation purpose, we need to write one more function, check validation records data. Right now I think we have some stored root scope dot result is a global variable that we stored the final data. This final data we stored it into the root scope dot result. Now this root scope dot result is having the total data, entire data. So I'm having some performance, doing some operations using that. So root scope dot result dot data is the response I'll get. So here this will be the array. So using this array, I'm just trying to check it out whether the username and password whatever is entered is right or not. So anyhow it is an array, therefore I'll be having n number of objects. So right now, if suppose if you are having different, let me think that first tab students in the application, sorry, demo blank app student. Right now these two tables are empty. So if suppose 5 users are existing, so automatically you will get a 5 length of array. The length of array will be 5, and therefore you will get the, you have to iterate it for 5 times, and you need to check whether the username and existing is matching with the existing records or not. If it is working, then we'll move to the, if the scope dot validation, here I'm making it as true when the username whatever we entered and whatever the response I'm getting here. This is a simple for loop. You need to understand for loops, how we work with the for loops. So if it is matching, if username is matching with the given username and password, then I'm making the scope dot validation as true. So scope dot validation is true, therefore automatically I'll redirect to student list view. If it is false, automatically I'll pop up a message saying that invalid credentials. This is with the offline work functionality. So in the case of online, already this data, this complete performance was done in the backend itself. So based upon the data dot status, if it is success, automatically we will redirect. If it is failure, the backend, this code completely was written in the backend. But here, as we are working with offline, this code is being written here. So for the online case, you need not worry. Only based upon the response.data.status. If it is a success, then it will redirect. If it is a failure, then it means that the username and password is not matching. That's it with the login view controller. So right now we have seen only app.js, routes.js, login view controller, and service.js. These are all the beginnings. Beginning in the sense, app.js is a module created, and index.html is mapping with this app.js. Next, for redirection purpose, we are having ion-nav view. So for that case, we want to run routes. So we created one routes module, app.routes, and next we are giving some templates and URLs here. For that, we have one login view controller. So we are creating one controllers with the name called app.controllers. And next, this is having some services provided, SQLite. So this, for the services sake, I am writing one service.js, which I am naming it as app.services. But never here we don't have any link up for all this. So all the link up will be having in the app.js. App.routes is that what we created. We need to pass it as a dependency. We know that in the modules we can have a number of dependencies passed. So app.routes is passed into this. App.controllers we have created. Next, so this app.controllers also be passed. Next, app.services also created. So this app.services is also passed, and Angular Cordova also plugin. If you want, you can just add it here also there. So this is how we have created routes, controller, services separately, and we injected into the main module. Now this module starter contains all these routes and controllers and services and everything. Now this is with the functionality of all the how to add all the splitting of all the routes, controllers, services, and adding into the application main module. If suppose I'm going to have another controller like sign up view controller. Sign up view controller is also a controller. So for that I'm having one app.controller. So I'm saying that the module will be the same app.controller, so I need not worry about having the dependencies passed again. Only the dependency should be passed only for the first time. Make sure that the second time, if you're going to use the same module, the second time you need not worry of adding the dependency. This says that already there is a module app.controllers, and you are not in that controller already. Previously you have added the dependency, and you need not worry about adding the dependencies here. So this says that app.controllers is having one more controller, that is what sign up view controller. So in that sign up view controller, again you have params declared. So here also you have the same kind of stuff, like adding online users, offline users. So when you are having online users, we call the online users. If you are having offlines, then you will add it as a offline users. So online in the sense simple, like $http.post scope.url you need to pass, and as well as scope.params, just like the previous login view controller whatever we have done. This is with the http post. If it is of get method, we'll have http.get. If it is of post method, we'll have http.post. And as well as with the getting the data is also same. Add offline users, in the sense you need to call here sqlite.insert record we are saying. So previously we have seen how to create a table and how to get all the details, but here one more function was missing. What was that? Is insert record. So insert record purpose, we need to pass all the username, password also, and the table name also. So for that I'm using user, I'm sending the table name, and scope.params, in the sense what are the parameters I should pass to save in the table. So for that I'm just going to the insert service.in JS insert method will be there here. So insert record, table name, and params. So table name, if it is equal to user, then I have a query called insert into user, username and password, where the values will be mapping with the whichever the parameters I'm sending here. Params dot username, params dot password. Why? Because I'll be sending params object from the sign up view controller. If it is of not a user, if table name is not user, then automatically it will come to the, anyhow right now we are having only two. Just for the second case I'm just having it as insert into student. Other than user, the other table what you have is only student. So insert into student, first name, last name, phone number, email, location, city and everything. So like this we can just have the two queries. So right now just hard coded, you can just make them as dynamic. So this is an easy way to understand now. And next we have a cordova SQLite.execute method. Again same thing, database, you need to add the DB here, and as well as the query. What is the query, you need to pass that, then you will get some response there. So once the response comes, you can just have some alert pop-up saying that record inserted successfully. So automatically you will get some response back. So one alert message will be prompting back like record inserted successfully if the record is inserted. Next, this is how after once the record is inserted, then we'll be moving into the login view. And once if you are is a login view controller, then if the credentials are matching, then we are moving into the students list view, right? So in the students list view, what we need to do, once the page is loading itself, we need to get the details of the entire students. Student list view control.js. So first what we have to do is, in the student we have a templates folder created. So this template folder was not created automatically, we created it to add HTML views. Okay, student list view. In the student list view, I have to first get the data. So I'm just calling initially first get data method I'm calling. So first get data method, in the sense, so this is the first get method. So when the page is loading, automatically I will be calling this function. When this function is called, what will happen is, I'll be getting the online status, and again I'll be redirecting whether it is online or offline. So first get online data, in the sense you can have online data $http.scope.url like get students or some other thing. And if it is of offline data, we have seen how to work with the getting the data from offline. First get data offline, in the sense you need to call SQLite.get all records. So as you are using SQLite, you can to pass a dependency here and everything. So similarly as we have done with the login view, how to get the local database data is simple. So first get our data offline data, in the sense you need to call the method in the SQLite service get all records. You need to pass a table name. So automatically it will go to the service.js get all records, in the sense it will move to here, table name is student. So select a star from here, it will be students. So automatically this query will be executed, and this will be saved in the global root scope.result, and you can use this response. So anyhow you'll be having that data. So that is the reason why when page is loaded, you'll get some response back and you'll store it in the scope dot response will be there. Get all the results. So root scope dot result dot data, we are storing it in response, so which will be having the complete details of the students. And if it is less greater than 0, then what we have to say is student list, that is if there is no students added still. So for that what we are showing is students are not available, or else no students are added. It's some error message we are showing. ng if response dot length, if it is less than 0, we are saying that no students added it. If the length is greater than 0, then we are saying that we are showing the list of the data. The list of the data in the sense this one, wherein the list will have an image, first name, last name, and the contact number. So for this what we have to do is we have to, once we click on this div, automatically it will show the details. So for this div click, I have to write one functionality called ng-click, wherein I'll be calling view details. So ng-click view details. So view details in the sense, again you need to go to student list view control, check it out. Okay, view details is there. So you need to pass the data here. So ng repeat in the sense, this will be working like a for loop. Data in the response in the sense, each div will have one object. So this data in the sense, that particular clicked data object will be stored here, and it will be saved into this selected record, and you can just store it in the root scope dot selected record. Why? Because this root scope dot selected record, you are going to use it in the student detail view, where because here root scope dot selected record is stored here. Root scope dot selected record is stored here. So automatically from there you will get it into scope dot selected student, and now you can just bind these values into your student list detail view. So selected student dot first name, last name, selected student dot email, selected student dot phone number, selected student dot location, and everything. So this is how you can show the details of the entire all the remaining students even. And the last one which is left is the add student form. So student form view is there. So this comes with a form like a sign up form similarly. So sign up form view controller, again same logic. Remember, only the app.module, app.controllers, only for the first time you need to pass the dependency. Once if you are using for the second time, you need not worry about the dependency. You should not add the dependency. It is not a new module again to be added. Only for the first module creation itself you will have the dependency. So student form view control, naming convention should be camel case, and the name I'm using the same module app.controllers only. I'm not creating a new one, so I need not worry about passing the dependency here. So app.controllers, so student form controllers is created, and you know in the sign up also we have done same thing. Add student offline, add student online. Add student online in the sense you will send a HTTP post request with the scope.url and scope.params. If it is of offline, again you will call the scope SQLite dot, what is this, we have offline insert record, SQLite dot insert record method you will call, and you will send the student table name as well as the scope.params in the sense all the params which are there here, scope.params. So this is how you will get the data saved into the online and offline both. So if you see the application working here, initially you don't have anything, no users, no student. So let's sign up first. So in order to make it as offline, first of all you need to make it as offline. Let me think that there is a user with a password and everything. If I submit here, passwords must be same. So testing and everything, you can just check it out. Record inserted successfully. Okay, record is also there now.